Okay, and we're live. Welcome everyone. All right, so tonight we have a very exciting episode. Okay, welcome for those of you who are just joining us. Welcome to tonight, Future Proof. We have a very special guest coming on tonight at 8:30. So it's exactly 8 o'clock right now. So in half an hour, David Schwartz, he's the project director of the Litecoin Foundation, and he's jumping on to join us. So that we can ask him a few questions. So for those of you who are interested to ask someone from the Litecoin Foundation any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section below. So first of all, just doing a mic check. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? If you can, please just put it in the comment section below. So just doing a mic check. Welcome to everyone who's joining us. We've got Elvin Yen, we've got Caleb Yong, we have Jeffrey Tan, we have Go Li Ping, we have Yong Ly, Max Tong, Kam, and we also have Carolyn and Rushdan Awang. So welcome everyone. Okay, thank you for joining us tonight. So today is actually a public holiday in Malaysia. But as you know, so I hope everyone is staying home and staying safe. And as you know, crypto never sleeps. So obviously, we will keep bringing the news to you and keep we're here for you. So again, doing a mic check. Hope everybody can hear me loud and clear. If you think that this topic is of interest to any of your friends or family, feel free to tag them. Feel free to share this as a link to them so that they can join us now and hear what we have to say. And also feel free to click on the like button right below. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you, JP Low. Thanks for the confirmation that you hear me loud and clear. Also, well, it's not new anymore, but I'm really liking this new mic that we have, or mic that I have. Okay, so throughout the presentation, feel free to throw in any questions that you might have. Let's see. I'm just checking on the COVID numbers today. So today we have 649 new cases. So I guess that's come down from the 800 plus. Selangor has about 135. So everyone, social distance, stay safe. Hope everyone is staying safe. Okay, so let's see. So tonight we are going to talk about Litecoin and the Litecoin blockchain. So what's going to happen is for the first 30 minutes of this presentation, I'm going to do a very quick presentation. I've got 20 plus slides or more. So I will be going through it very quickly. So hopefully you guys can keep up. And then at about 8:30, David's going to jump on. Now, we didn't want David to jump on too early because, and he was very kind to agree to jump on because it's he's in Wisconsin, so it's about 13 hours behind us, which means right now is 7 a.m. Right, so he's agreed to jump on at 7:30 a.m. his time, which is still very early. So hope he gets his morning coffee. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so what I will do is I will jump straight into it and share a Chrome tab, and here we go. Right, okay, let me know if you can see the screen. I hope you can. Let me present. Okay, so we're going to talk about Litecoin. We're also going to talk a little bit about the gaming industry, okay? Because as part of the entertainment industry, the gaming industry essentially dominates, right? Now, before I start, I am not this is not professional financial advice. So this is not financial advice. So don't take it as financial advice. We're just here to share. I've done some research, and I'm here to. Thank you, Kuhan. And I am, I'm just here to share the research that I've done with everyone, right? So I'm trying to save everybody time. We do the research and we share it with you, and hopefully, you learn a thing or two. Yeah, you learn something new. Okay, so if you are going to make any financial decisions, do consult with a financial professional. Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump straight into it. So this is the chart of Litecoin for the last 12 months in the last year. So in fact, if you see in the last 12 months, it's actually come down a little, right? It's come down a little. But for all you technical analysts out there and you chartists out there, you can see there's a lot of opportunities for you to trade, right? To get in and out. So David has been on this show before. So David first came on. Sorry, let me just click on it. Go back. So Litecoin has been is up 34% since David first came on the show. So when David came, it was on the 25th of June this year, and Litecoin was here at around 42.60. And then 2 weeks ago, we had the CEO of a Malaysian digital asset exchange that is regulated by the Securities Commission, Chuyi. He also came on, and we also talked about Litecoin. So at that point, it was about 49.40. Then this was taken yesterday on the 28th, right? Litecoin was at 57.25. Right now, I think, if I'm not wrong, Litecoin is at around $54. Now, this is all in US dollars. Okay. So now, as you all know, so there, I've mentioned this before, and I will continue to mention this. There is a company called Grayscale. So essentially, what they've done is they have listed their shares, right? It's kind of like an ETF, where basically they purchase and custody the cryptocurrency Litecoin, and then they put the shares up on the stock exchange, right? And so if you have an iPhone and you have a stocks app or something like that, what you can do is you can head on to the stocks app and search for LTCN, right? LTCN, and you will find the stock that is actually listed. So what happens is, if you purchase a stock, each underlying stock, right? Each of this stock will have there's an amount of the underlying asset, which is Litecoin, per stock, right? So that LTCN share price right now, as of yesterday, was $80. I think I checked earlier this afternoon, was about $70. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? For the accredited investors, the institutional investors, and funds, they are not allowed to purchase the underlying asset, right? They have to purchase these shares in order to get access to these cryptocurrencies or these digital assets, right? So they have to purchase the share, which is then wrapped, right, in shares, and then you've got the underlying crypto asset, which is Litecoin. So all these accredited and institutional investors, they can only purchase the shares. Obviously, they can purchase it personally, but as the institution, as the fund, they can only purchase these shares. And here's the interesting thing, right? So whilst the price is at $80 or $70, each of those share, right, only holds $5.39 worth of Litecoin per share. But the price, well, right now it's at $70. Yesterday it was at $80. So there's a premium of over 1,000%, right? Now, obviously, there's been some very interesting announcements in the past week, right? So PayPal announced on the 21st that they will start offering cryptocurrency exchange features, right, within PayPal. So you can purchase, you can sell, I think 4 cryptocurrencies. You've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. So Litecoin's here, and I think Bitcoin Cash, right? So these 4, you're actually allowed to purchase and sell on PayPal. Now, I think they were going to start off with US customers first, and then they will move on to the other, I suppose, the other jurisdictions once they can, get the approval from the relevant regulators. So when the announcement was made, you could see how the share price just jumped up, right? Okay, so that's very interesting. I'm gonna move on to the next slide. So okay, let's see what happened in what was PayPal's announcement. So they said that you can pay using crypto, right? At any of PayPal's 26 million merchants worldwide, right? So first of all, you can have money in your PayPal account. You can use that to buy crypto. And then whilst you're keeping crypto, let's say you bought it at $50, it went up to $55, right? You can actually use your crypto to pay the merchants, right? That's inside your PayPal wallet. You can buy, you can hold, you can sell. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin directly within PayPal's digital wallet. First half of 2021, they plan to expand the features to Venmo. For those of you who don't know Venmo, Venmo is essentially think of it as it's just a more kind of digital bank or a cash app, right? So essentially, you're just transferring money. You can send digital currency to each other, right? So, so what does that mean, right? Does that is PayPal? I mean, PayPal's not a bank, right? Essentially, PayPal is a tech company. So, but if we just look at the characteristics of a bank, right, and we look at the characteristics of PayPal, they have some of the characteristics, and they don't have the others, right? Obviously, PayPal, you can use it for money storage, right? But there's no insurance, there's no check writing, remittance of payments, so you can use it to pay. You can also use a bank for that. So apparently PayPal has debit and credit cards. I did not know that, right? Obviously you can't take a mortgage from PayPal, but you can from a bank. Small business loans, apparently you can do that. So this is probably in the United States, right? So while it isn't a bank, it may be the new face of banking. Now, if you think about it, it's all about generational change, right? In today's so-called younger generation, and when I say younger, I mean those who have kind of grown up with the internet and they never knew of a world without the internet. They have they probably have never used a checkbook before, nor have they used a check, possibly, right? It's quite possible. There's high chance they have not done that. So millennials, right, they grew up with everything that's kind of electronic. Okay, next. I'm gonna move pretty fast. Okay, so obviously then the banks came up with their own what do you call competitor, right? They called it Zelle, right? That is the US bank's response to something like Venmo. When I say so Venmo would be the equivalent to in Malaysia, the Big Pay, right? The Big Pay card, right? For those of you who know what that is. So here's what's really interesting. So you've got Alipay, right? That's worth 313 billion, right? You look at PayPal's 235 billion. So now, are the banks trying to play catch up to PayPal, right? So this is very interesting. Now, here's one that's closer to home. DBS Bank, one of the largest banks in Singapore. They actually put this up for a little while. They have since taken it down because they are actually waiting for regulatory, approval. But essentially, DBS Bank is looking into becoming a digital exchange. So what does that mean? Does that mean you can log on to your DBS Bank if you're a DBS customer and eventually transfer some? It's like a multi-currency account, right? Oh, I think I'm going to move some Sing dollars into Bitcoin today. Oh, and Bitcoin's gone up. Well, in that case, I'm going to move some Bitcoin back into Sing dollars, right? Hi, Ken. Thanks for joining us. So this is really exciting stuff, right? The biggest bank, right? So is crypto becoming mainstream? I think it is. So let's see, right? Let's see. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move fast because it's already 8:14. So I've got 15 minutes before David comes on, right? So PayPal in talks to buy crypto firms, including BitGo. For those of you who don't know, BitGo is besides doing custody services, they also do payments processing. So if I were an online merchant and I wanted to accept crypto for my, for whatever it is that I'm selling, whether it's a service, a subscription, or a physical item that I'm going to mail out to you, I could go to BitGo and get and get BitGo to to do that payment processing portion. Okay, so all of a sudden there's a massively widened market for Litecoin, right? Now, if you look, we'll just do some very quick comparisons, right? So PayPal has 800 billion payment volume, right, annually. We're trying to compare apples for apples, so we'll do the best that we can, right? So 84 billion annually for Litecoin. Number of transactions, 12 billion annually, right? That's 12 billion transactions. We've got about 36.5 million of transactions annually on the Litecoin blockchain. You have 346 million active users on PayPal, and on Litecoin. Now, this is technically just the active addresses in the last 24 hours, right? So there's a slight difference there. Okay, so what is PayPal's endgame? They want to have 1 billion users, and essentially, if you look at the recent or listing that's going to happen, right? The Ant Group, which is going to be the largest IPO ever, they have 1.3 billion users, right? That's almost like the entire, about 92%, 93% of the population of China, right? So the Ant Group, right? These are the guys that's behind Alipay, right? Okay, so even if Litecoin captures, just 0.9% of PayPal's market, they would go, to 9 million users, right? So that's fairly large. Okay, so tonight we're here to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about the gaming industry, right? So here's something that's very interesting. Recently, there's been a launch of a game called LiteBringer. That's LITE, like Litecoin, LiteBringer.com, right? For those of you who are gamers out there, you might want to check it out. This is pretty interesting. You go to LiteBringer.com, and you can, and the entire game, right, is actually played. Well, it's off the Litecoin blockchain network, right? And there are no servers, right? Okay, so now that we're moving into this, let's talk about the gaming industry. Now, video games, right? So if you look at the entertainment industry, right, you've got games, you've got Hollywood, right, movies and stuff, and then you have music, right? Games are by far, right, 2/3, right? They are, it's huge. It's bigger than Hollywood, right? The gaming industry is bigger than Hollywood, right? So look at those numbers. Now, there are 3.1 billion active gamers worldwide. So that's about 40% of the world's population. Now, if you think about it, that's insane. That's crazy, right? So now video gamers spend on average 6 hours, 20 minutes each week playing games, right? That's a lot of time in front of whether it's a tiny screen or a larger screen, or just like, these gamers, they have these really cool rigs set up, right, with water cooling CPUs and stuff. So here's some cool stats. You've got Fortnite, which is one of the most popular games around, which recently Apple kind of kicked them off the App Store because they didn't follow the guidelines. But that's a different story for a different day. So Fortnite's been played 10.4 million years, right? That's how many hours users have actually spent playing Fortnite, playing that game, right? So it's pretty insane. So video games now. Did you know? Well, for those gamers out there, you would already know, right? Inside each game, there's some form of money, right, or currency that you actually need to purchase things to kind of speed you along, or get you cooler stuff, right? You need a bigger gun, you need a more powerful sword, or you need to, I don't know, purchase more bricks to build your homes faster, right? So in every game, there's always this currency. But these currency are game currencies, right? So, for example, in Fortnite, you've got V-Bucks, right? In Clash of Clans, you've got the gems, right? So every dollar gets you 80 gems. Counter-Strike, you've got the case key, riot points, guild, and so on and so forth, right? In Final Fantasy. So every game has their own currencies. And here's the interesting thing, right? You pay for you give, whether ringgit or USD or whatever it is, it goes into the game, right? You use that to purchase, you use that to trade, and so on and so forth. But you can't take that back out, right? So it goes in and it kind of stays there, right? And here's the thing, you can't, I can't really transfer any Fortnite games or Fortnite V-Bucks. I can't transfer it. Let's say I'm done with the game. Like I'm bored. Right? I played it for 6 months and I played it for 8 hours a day. I've just had enough of Fortnite. And now I want to change the scenery. I'm gonna go play some Clash of Clans. Instead of putting in more money, because I'm so good at Fortnite now, I've accumulated a fair amount of V-Bucks. I'd like to transfer my V-Bucks over to Clash of Clans. Right? Can I do that? No. Right? I cannot do that. Why can't I do that? I mean, it's just the way these games are set up, right? You've got different companies that set up different games. So you don't have this universal currency, and you can't even do it like, our foreign currencies, right? I've got some ringgit. If I were traveling and if there were no pandemic and I needed some USD, I could easily purchase some USD with my ringgit, right? But I can't purchase some gems with my V-Bucks, right? No way, that's not possible. So now, for those non-gamers out there, so I used to play games when I was much younger, but games have since evolved, and it is such a huge industry. So for those hardcore gamers out there, you will understand this. But for the non-gamers out there, understand this: they actually live and breathe the game. They are in another world, right? It's a different world. So you go into this game, and this is actually a news piece, right? Where they were in this game, and they fought, right? And then they cheated and they stole and whatnot. But then they had a disagreement, and the gamers actually knew the person in real life, and they actually threatened them, like in real life. They threatened to chop off his arms, and so violence was threatened. That's how much they are in the game. So you might think it's just a game, but for a lot of gamers, it's reality, right? Or the lines blur. Now, I'm not here to debate whether that's healthy or not, but it is what it is, right? And it's a huge industry, and so so now, as I was saying, right? So I can't get so in that game, I think Eve, right? The currency is called ISK. So different games use different currencies, and different games are not allowed to. You can't transfer your currencies, right? So let's say you got really good at a game, you're not allowed to. You can't just transfer it out. It's not portable, right? It can only be used within that game. And also, if you think about it, each game will have their own community, right? So you have platforms like Twitch, right, where a lot of gamers go online, they play the games and they live stream, but they each have their own community members, right? And it is only worth something to those within the community. So if, let's say, I were a Fortnite player, and I had V-Bucks, V-Bucks is worth a lot to me, but I don't play Eve. So ISK is nothing. Like what's ISK? Like I can't use it, right? Because I don't play that game. So here comes Litecoin, right? So Litecoin is an actual cryptocurrency. Litecoin is accepted. In fact, it has been approved by SC, if I'm not wrong, as the fourth crypto that is allowed to be traded in Malaysia on the digital asset exchanges, right? So so it's regulator approved, right? So so there must be some form of legitimacy to it. So Litecoin is accepted, right, as as a crypto, right? There is worth to it, and now you've got this game, right, LiteBringer, that is built on top of the Litecoin blockchain, public blockchain, and you have users that can use the Litecoin to purchase things, right? And they can also purchase things in real life, right? They can jump on PayPal and use that to buy something of worth. So let's say you were in a game and you looted and you fought someone and whatever, and you gain a lot of Litecoin. You can actually transfer this Litecoin out to your wallet, and it's real money, right? Because, for example, if you were in the US and you had a PayPal account, you can just transfer it into your PayPal account, and you can start spending it. Or if you were in the US, you could transfer it onto Coinbase, or if you're in Malaysia, you can transfer it into any of the three regulated crypto exchanges, digital asset exchanges in Malaysia, like Tokenized Malaysia, and then you can transfer it there, and then you can just sell it for ringgit, right? So it's actually real, right? You can take it out. It's actually transferable. So this is cool. Like, this will be the first game, but I'm pretty sure this won't be the last game, right? So I think this is probably my last slide, which let me see. Yeah, okay. So this is my last slide. So just to share some stats, right? So EA, so this gaming company, right? Now their live services, right, which includes like in-game content, right? That makes up the largest source of revenue for them. More than half of their income comes from the gamers purchasing in-game content, right? The revenue, right, by 2020, the market for video games to generate almost 160 billion in revenue, right? Sales of loot boxes alone generate a quarter of the global gaming industry's revenue. So if you look at these numbers, these are huge numbers, right? This indicates that about 40 billion to about 80 billion a year is going to video game currencies. Now that's a lot of money. So let's hypothesize, right? So what does this mean for Litecoin? So right now the total market cap for Litecoin is 3.8 billion, right? And that represents out of the entire market capitalization of all crypto assets, 0.9% of the total crypto market, right? And let me see. And so then, right? You have so imagine if Litecoin were to capture just 0.9% of the crypto market, right? That's between 350 to 710 million, right? So and these are very conservative estimates. So that's about a 9 to 18 increase in market cap, right? That would be flowing into Litecoin each year, assuming that there's no growth at all, right? So look, I guess this is the first. I don't think it'll be the last, and it'll be interesting to see more games being developed on blockchains like Litecoin, right? Yeah. So Darren's Darren has a comment that says this will revolutionize esports and the sorts. Yeah, I think so, and I think this is a very important step, as I mentioned, right? To having real currency that you can use in the game, and real currency that you can actually take out and spend in the real world, and move between games, right? That are then built on the Litecoin blockchain. So okay, I think I'm just on time, and I think that David is in. Yeah, I think David's in. So I'm gonna unshare my screen and get David in here. Okay. Hey, David.
Hey.
Welcome. Good morning.
How you doing, Andrew? Good morning.
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. It's been a little bit, but I enjoyed the last one, so I'm sure I will with this one too.
Yeah. So I've just spent the last 30 minutes talking about a little bit about the gaming industry, a little bit about how Litecoin has recently been the Litecoin blockchain has recently been used as the the public blockchain of choice for the game called LiteBringer. All right, that's on LiteBringer.com. And how in the current gaming industry, if I were playing Fortnite and I had V-Bucks, I couldn't take the V-Bucks out and move that to a different game on Clash of Clans or something. But if more and more games were to be built then on a game like LiteBringer, and other games being built on the Litecoin blockchain, that'll just you can literally move your Litecoin around. So everyone, it's an honor to have David Schwartz with us. He's the project director of the Litecoin Foundation. I'm gonna stop talking and pass it on to David and let David introduce himself. Over to you, David.
Yeah, so I'm David Schwartz. I'm the project director for the Litecoin Foundation, and the foundation is actually based out of Singapore. It's a nonprofit, and it's just solely based or exists to help promote the adoption and the awareness of Litecoin globally. It's been around since about the start of 2017, and I joined around the end of 2017, start of 2018 as a volunteer, and slowly migrated into the role that I'm in now. And I help with entities and companies and whatever who want to try and figure out how to partner with the foundation or figure out different ways in which to utilize the coin and help with other internal projects and stuff like that. So I really enjoy the role, and it's something that although I'm part-time, as are many people that are volunteering their time for Litecoin, it's something I always look forward to doing throughout my day. And anytime I have an excuse to jump on and do some work, I'm very happy to do that. It doesn't even feel like work, really. It's more like when you have a passion, it's something you do simply because you just love it, not because of any other reason. So I really enjoy it, and I look forward to being in the spot and helping out the foundation for a long time to come.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, David, I guess we'll probably just have a chat and kind of find out from you what's been happening in the Litecoin space. The direction that probably where Litecoin's going. And I know recently that Litecoin, there's an exclusive Litecoin card, right? Credit or debit card that's been introduced in the States. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we teamed up with Turnio. Turnio does the block card, which is like a debit card available, excuse me, in the States as well. And they are crypto based. So they have done a lot of great things to help further the space and bring in people from mainstream to be able to use crypto for purchasing, regular purchasing. So they have a very strong relationship with Visa, and also have become one of the first, if not the first, crypto-based companies to be a part of their fast track process. So now they're able to do things that regular companies outside of the crypto space are able to do, to bring on people with debit cards quicker. So they've been big supporters of Litecoin for a long time, like verbally and emotionally and so on. And so they wanted to figure out a way where they could help us get a card out, because they know how much it means for people to be able to spend their Litecoin. We have one of the more active cryptocurrency investors, fan base, users, whatever you want to call it, who like to actually utilize it for what it's worth. And so they've helped us bring out this Litecoin debit card. So signups have been going on for a while, and they'll continue for a little bit as we do testing internally with the foundation. We have some people who are using or will be using the card, and then once everything feels like it's going well, then they'll start actually tipping into the people who have signed up and start hashing out the cards to everybody. So yeah, we're really excited about that. I have let me see if I can find the
That's
site
really
here
cool.
real quick. I could share it with you.
Yeah, sure. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But that will only be available to the those who are in the United States. Is that right? For
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna avoid share screen. I don't know how I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this. I don't use StreamYard very often.
That's all right. So at the
So,
bottom, just click on share screen.
let me see. All right, so I'm showing us right now, right?
Yeah. Wait, let's see if
There we go. I got it. I think
got
I
it. All
got it.
right, cool.
Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this is the site. So anybody who's in the United States and they wanted to try and use Litecoin debit card, this is where you go. It's litecoin-card.com. And the cool thing is, so a lot of these cards that have crypto on them right now, they have to be converted to, dollars at the point of getting put on the card, or maybe it's converted into like a token that's used by the card. So like Turnio has a turn token, right? And so anytime you would deposit any crypto onto like the block card, it gets converted to turn. Well, what they've done for us is they've allowed it to be when you put Litecoin onto the card, it's literally Litecoin on the card. You can convert it to turn if you wanted to, but it stays as Litecoin until the point of purchase, to when it's then converted. But you can put it on the card, take it back off the card, whatever. So it's very versatile, and we're very excited about it. So that's the site for
That's
that.
really cool. Now, does that also does it allow you to also bank in fiat currency, US dollars into the card as well?
So the way it's set up right now is any cryptocurrency that you put onto the card will be converted to Litecoin. So if you, there goes my dog. That's the one that kept me up.
all night. Sounds like a big dog.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's big. But yeah, so any cryptocurrency you put on it will be converted to Litecoin. So if you send Bitcoin Cash to it, or Bitcoin or Ethereum, it gets converted to Litecoin. It sits on there as native Litecoin.
Nice.
As far
So
as
I have
dollars, though, it's I don't think so.
okay. I've got a question from JP Low, and so how secure are these Litecoin debit cards?
I guess if the question is in regarding to secure, as in is it your crypto, or are you giving up the crypto to be put on the card and then somebody else is in charge of it? If that's what he means, when you do send it to them, they have a vault that it's placed in, right? So it's anybody who knows the mantra, not your keys, not your coins. They are your coins, but they are pooled into a vault that's secured through them and their partners. And so that is something to be mindful of. Most people will be utilizing it like they're going to put, 1, 2, 3 Litecoin maybe on there, 4, whatever it is, and leave them on there for when they're going to purchase something.
Yeah.
For some people, that's a lot of Litecoin, and for others, that's not so much. So it's all your taste of like anything else that you use, Coinbase, or any of the other exchanges, or any of the other services like Celsius or BlockFi or anything else. Those are all third-party, centralized, where someone else is holding it and you're trusting them with it. That is going to be utilized the way it's supposed to. So the
Yep.
card is the same way, but I mean, these are people that are highly regulated, and they have relationships with some of the largest companies that everybody knows. So it's not like they just created it overnight and are going to run off with it, which is the only reason why we did it with them, is because there's a trust factor there. So
I guess the cool thing about Litecoin is when you transfer Litecoin, it doesn't take as long as Bitcoin to be transferred, right? It's 4 times
Yep.
faster, and so as David was saying, it's a debit card, right? So you can have 2 or 3 or 4 Litecoin in there for your everyday use, and then you can keep the rest in your whether hardware wallet or even just a wallet on your phone, right? Because then it's your keys,
Yeah.
it's yours. And if you need to spend a larger amount, well, just send the Litecoin in, and you're good to go, right? You wait a little while, and you're good to go. So that's the cool thing about Litecoin, because it's so fast.
Yeah,
So
that's the plan I have. So I signed up for mine, and I have an Elapal, right? Cold storage wallets. I have an Elapal Titan, which is really nice. I like that.
cool.
And then I have a Ballet wallet, which is it's also pretty cool. It's like looks like a card,
A
and it has the
metal,
private keys. Yeah, I love it. And it's the first one I gave to my wife, so it's her first wallet as
nice.
well. So she has one, and it's very easy. If I want to, I'll just transfer whatever Litecoin I want onto the card, and then I can go use it wherever I need to.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So okay, so David, let's move on to gaming, right?
Sure.
Let's talk about Lightbringer. Now, as I was saying before you came on, the gaming industry is, even bigger than Hollywood, right? So in the entertainment industry, we were to look at gaming, and movies, right,
Mm.
and music. Gaming takes up 70% of the pie. So gaming is huge, and so the recent foray into gaming, well, into building a game that's actually on the Litecoin blockchain. Now, how does that
Hmm.
work?
Yeah. So the team, Sipsoft out of Germany, they've been around for a little over 20 years, and they had one of the most popular games for the longest time. It still gets like hundreds of thousands of users globally. Shoot, now I forgot the name off the top of my head, but I think it's Tibia or something like that. I know both my sons have played it and still play it here and there, and they're in their late 20s. But they created Lightbringer and used the Litecoin blockchain. The reasoning when they were talking to us was the fact that the confirmation times were only 2.5 minutes, which helps with that pace of their game because it's a role player game, and it's very quick and it's very secure, um, and it lend itself perfectly for that type of a video game. And they anticipate finding other ways in which to utilize it going forward. It's considered, it's considered like real money. So you're putting money into the game, and then you can earn money, you're spending money, and then you can pull it out later too. Right. And for many people, um, I think when it first came out, they were like, well, what if I don't have any Litecoin? How can I start? And there are ways for you to start without having a wallet already set up, right? And so you can earn it then, or maybe folks online were saying, here, you only need like 20 cents to get started. It's not like you need 5 or 10 or 15, $20 to get started. It's like 20 cents. So it's not hard. And then
No.
you just get on there and you start playing, and it's something where it's like you make a move, you can go do something, come back, you make your next move, right? But it's not a 10-minute block time. It's not something that's insane, but it's also not too fast to where it's not secure either, right? So when you start getting into 5, 10, 15-second confirmation times, many people don't understand that there are security risks when when it's that quick, and
Yeah.
you end up having a lot of orphan blocks, and there's a lot of different things that happen that on the technical side
Yep.
people don't realize. Because when you go on Twitter or some of these other places, and people are bragging about how fast it's instant and it's this and that, it's
Yep.
free or whatever. You just have to remember that everything that has to do with Bitcoin and Litecoin is extremely intentional. And it may seem, at first when Bitcoin and Litecoin first came out, each of them came out, you're thinking, that's earth shattering. It's groundbreaking that it takes only 10 minutes to confirm versus where a regular wire transfer or whatever was like 3 days, right? Well, now
Yeah.
10 minutes, they make it sound like it's an eternity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
right.
right? And so it's 2.5 for Litecoin. Now, granted, Litecoin is faster in the transaction, so you'll get it. Like I could send some to you right now, and you'll get it in like 3-4 seconds, right?
Yep. Yep.
Unless you're using an exchange to send it because they're monitoring stuff, so there'll be a little bit of a delay, but then you'll get it. But the actual confirmation and security of it for Litecoin, that takes a little bit longer than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is literally the most secure cryptocurrency you're going to find. And
Yep.
so the confirmation time for that to make it a secure transaction is actually faster than any other cryptocurrency, right?
Yep.
But Litecoin is one of the most secure. It's literally probably right behind, if I remember right behind Bitcoin. So although it takes much longer for that to be a fully secure transaction, the transaction happens faster. So it's that, which one do you want? Do you want the transaction to be quicker? And it is going to be secure, but it's going to take a little bit longer to actually secure it. Or do you want a super secure transaction that you're just going to be willing to wait longer based off of the miners and how everything is being set up in the blocks and how long it takes for the block to be confirmed, right?
Yep, yep. So that's that's an interesting point, right? So that means when you have a Litecoin, it's actually very complementary to having Bitcoin because
Yes.
you want to have Bitcoin as and we're seeing that happening around the world right now, right? Especially with the unlimited quantitative easing that's happening
Mm-hmm.
and money printing that's happening, is that many fund managers are actually and average Joe on the street, everyone is looking towards Bitcoin as that store of wealth. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you still want to spend something, you want your transaction to go through faster, but not only faster, you want that transaction to be secure,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah,
and for that
absolutely.
transaction to happen on the internet, where it is inherently not a secure network. That's very important. That you brought up a very good point, that security is a very important aspect of a cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not to take anything away from those other cryptocurrencies, right? But you can't say one thing and then not acknowledge the others. And so with Litecoin, we acknowledge it's faster, and but it does take a little bit longer in real life to have a truly secure, confirmed transaction than it does Bitcoin. But it does occur. The problem with others may be the fact that they've made it instantaneous, and the confirmation may even be as fast as the transaction. But you can't honestly secure anything legitimately that quickly, and so you'll see over time, like when you talk about fund managers and Bitcoin becoming a store of value. When you watch the ecosystem the way it is right now, and Bitcoin is considered a store of value at this point, you'll still have people clamoring to try and use it for really, regular daily transactions like buying small things. But in reality, the more valuable it becomes, the less used it will be in a transactional, like daily, regular purchasing type of a thing. And so that mentality is not going to lose its thought process as it goes past the border of ecosystem into mainstream. Because the human mind is the human mind. So just because someone's a fund manager or something else outside of our ecosystem does not mean that their mindset changes over time when they learn how these things work.
Yep.
So Bitcoin as a store of value on the outside will then need something complementary to be more the payments part of it on the outside as well, because people are not going to utilize Bitcoin to buy a milkshake at Sonic or go purchase some sushi at the local restaurant. They're going to use something else because Bitcoin has become a store of value, and a store of value is exactly that.
Yep.
Litecoin will have also a store of value because its price will also go up, but it is also considered more something that you're willing to spend
Yep.
for something. And so that mindset will continue outside of the ecosystem. And A lot of people either don't want to acknowledge that or haven't understood that yet.
I think it's probably the latter. They probably haven't understood it yet. So going back to actually, I'm gonna throw in a question or a comment from Darren. Right. So Darren says,
Yeah. Sorry, you're a
uh,
little bit delayed there.
oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. That says, I would like to give the lower barrier entry for. So I guess Darren is saying that it's cool that Litecoin, the game Lightbringer being on, or gaming being on the Litecoin um, public blockchain, and using Litecoin as the currency within the game to play the game, because you could build your wealth within the game, but then and it's also transferable out into the real world, right? So if you had a Litecoin card, you go into this game, you make a lot of money, you send it to your Litecoin card, and you spend it, right? Or you
Yeah.
send it to your PayPal,
Yeah.
and
I mean, what
and
else
you
can you
spend
do
it.
there? Right.
Yeah, and I guess what Darren is saying, it's really cool because a lot of gamers start when they're in their teens, or even younger, right? And so
Mhm.
it's quite accessible. If you have an internet connection and a device, you can have Litecoin. You can actually, you can earn some Litecoin. You can earn, some money, right? And it's not child labor. Like you're playing the game, and uh, yeah,
Yeah, I and many others strongly believe that the gaming industry is where you're going to end up exposing a lot of younger people to cryptocurrencies before perhaps their parents or the regular world do. And just like with anything, you target the demographic that it's going to benefit them and you the most. And that's really the people that are, between the ages of probably 15 and 30 at this point. Because at some point, for cryptocurrencies, the more familiar someone who's 15 to 25 or 30 is with cryptocurrency, the more it becomes a part of their regular life as they move forward,
yeah,
raise a family, have a job where they're able to put money into investing in something,
yeah,
using it, so on and so forth. And so there's a generational iceberg that moves constantly, right? And
yeah,
it's time for the iceberg for people that are between the ages of probably 60 and whatever, however long you live, the things that they are used to and understand and utilize. Some of them are always going to be around, but others change.
yeah,
And as much as people would like to think that money in its current form has been around forever, it hasn't. And it's probably one of the things that evolves and changes more frequently besides like governments. Right. So
yeah,
there is a time period for money to also morph into whatever society is deciding it needs the most. And I mean, at this point, it's already phased sort of into the digital era, and
yeah,
that's the perfect timing for something like Bitcoin and Litecoin and others to now enter the stage alongside of traditional money systems like paper and coins and whatever else. And those will slowly, at some point, and they may still exist. Just like there's still people that use landlines. They have phones that are up against their wall and they use them, right?
yeah.
Which is fine. It's not
Yep.
necessarily archaic, but it's not the majority anymore. And
Correct. Yeah.
that's what'll happen with money as well.
It's the generational change that will bring about the adoption, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's different ways of looking at it. It can be scary for people, but it can also be something that if you really want to have an economy globally where people are able to interact and transact seamlessly, it's going to take something where you don't have to hand it off from one person to the other. So
yeah, that's right. So we've got another question here from Alex. Do you mind sharing how the Cardano and Litecoin collaboration will impact the potential use cases for Litecoin?
Yeah, so I'm more pro collaboration than against it, and I try to be more neutral in when I'm putting information out or asking questions about it, because it really doesn't matter what I think. It really doesn't matter what a lot of people who have some type of connection or influence on Litecoin think. It's a community thing. So the impact itself is, it's interesting that we say Cardano and Litecoin, because what Cardano would be doing through this Velvet fork process is allowing interoperability between blockchains. It's verbal, right? So yes, you'd be able to do that with Cardano, but there's also the possibility of doing it with Ethereum or any other blockchain that has a smart contract capability. So
Yep.
does it help Cardano? Sure, it helps Cardano, and I mean, there's different ways that it helps Cardano. It legitimizes the blockchain more because you have a historic cryptocurrency who's now able to utilize their blockchain. And when I say utilize, I mean, think about it. If I'm a shipping company and I'm sending things to you, and I'm able to do a smart contract that pays out in Litecoin, right? That's great, because it's a currency. I say we, but I mean, Litecoin is a currency that is used for payments. So then you're able to pay somebody for the services that are done. And the contract is then wrapped in this Litecoin token that's utilized on the Cardano blockchain. And those people, so miners from Litecoin, will then be able to mine and validate that transaction. So they're going to make some money off of it. But the Cardano stake pool operators will also be able to complete the contract and receive their payment in either ADA or Litecoin. So everybody's happy, right?
Yeah, I personally think it's cool that and I think there should be more collaboration between blockchains for more interoperability. That's probably the next evolution. Like now we have these established blockchains. Litecoin being one of the OGs. From what 2011, right? Till now, yeah. So definitely one of the oldest. And then you combine that with, as you mentioned, Cardano's smart contract capabilities, and possibly even building more interoperability between Litecoin and other level one blockchains like Ethereum and other ones. That's when you see things that we probably can't even imagine right now, but applications happening that we haven't even thought about, right?
Yeah. Cardano is very active in Africa. I know that they're concentrating on working with like the Nigerian government. So there's things that can happen there where they're talking about allowing individuals to be more their own sovereign people by utilizing that blockchain. And a lot of people that are in the space now, they're really just totally into the DeFi thing. So they're talking about, wrapped Litecoin and whatever else, but they're looking at it in the respect of making money for themselves, like as an investment. When, that's fine, right? But the real utility of doing something like this is to be able to take a currency, put it into a system that's able to utilize it in a way that benefits many. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the part that that's more what excites me. I understand the DeFi thing. I get it. I don't really participate in that per se. But I understand why people are excited about it. But for me, it's really about how is it going to be used to benefit the majority. So you're welcome, Alexander. And I'm unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut out here. I have another appointment,
Sure.
but I do appreciate you bringing me on, and I'd like to do these more often. I think there's some other things that are coming down the pipe that it'd be really fun to talk to you about, both from a statistical standpoint, because I think both you and I are big into like numbers and stats and that kind of stuff, but also like how those things affect the regular, like the coin itself and the ecosystem. So
sure. Once again, David, thank you for coming on. I know it's 7:30, and you probably got up even earlier than that to come on the show. Make your coffee. Thank you so much for coming on again. I really appreciate it. I hope to get you on again soon. As you mentioned, when there are more announcements to happen, it'll be great to have you on again to share your thoughts. One last question before you go.
Sure.
Any thoughts about integrating with, there's a project called Ren that allows for inter-blockchain interoperability with the Ethereum network right now. Any plans on doing any work?
Well, haven't thought of it, but that's not to take anything away from Ren or whatever, but we're really trying to be intentional on all the things we do going forward. So we're still in the discovery and conversation phase with what interacting with Cardano would even look like. So I would like to think that we probably have to go through that process first before we look at the next one.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm of the mindset that Litecoin was built for a specific purpose, but if something else can enhance that purpose and give it more opportunities, I mean, the tribalism thing needs to be put to the side in that case. So,
yeah, I agree. Well, any last words, David?
Just keep a lookout for what Litecoin's doing. Where the foundation has been active in trying to find more ways of making it applicable in regular daily life, and I think you'll see some of that come out here in the next month or two and moving forward. So we're very happy and excited for the end of 2020 and also 2021.
Looking forward to more announcements. And if you didn't know, Litecoin. So we have 3 regulated digital asset exchanges here in Malaysia, and Litecoin is one of the 4 coins that are actually approved by the Securities Commission. So Litecoin.
Yeah, cool. All right, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
All right,
take care,
too.
David.
Bye. Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay, guys. Look, it's 9:02. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you had some insights directly from the project director of Litecoin, of the Litecoin Foundation. If you have any questions, look, I can stick around for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, just put them below before I say good night. And I hope you had, you gained some insights from what I shared earlier with the slides, and then hearing directly from the Litecoin Foundation themselves. Now, I'm of the opinion that Litecoin is severely overlooked at the moment because everyone is so focused on Bitcoin, right? But I feel, and this is a personal opinion, and this is not financial advice, that Litecoin is very complementary to Bitcoin. Now, don't forget, it's one of the oldest cryptocurrencies around. And when I say oldest, Bitcoin's the oldest. It came about in January, or it came live January 3rd, 2009, right? So Litecoin was 2011. So it is one of the oldest. It is one of the most secure ones out there. And Litecoin hasn't been shown any love for a while now, right? Not since the last halving last year. It's kind of come down, and but as with any halvings, you see it go up and it'll come down, and that's normal. It's only it's not even 10 years old yet, but yeah, look, hey, Darren, thanks for tuning in. Alex, thanks for asking those questions. Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for tuning in, and continue to tune in next week. Every week, we're here for you, right? We're here to share the news. We're here to share our research on Future Proof. So take care and good night and stay safe, guys. Bye.